Scientist also runs weekly trivia events for adults every Thursday. And on occasion, Sarah and her colleagues do some other activities, like do some more adult sort of oriented evening sessions where we talk science. And in fact, I had the privilege of talking to Sarah and her colleagues at an event from a ship one time while I was out at sea. I have to tease Sarah a little bit because I lent her a giant isopod in a glass jar and made her promise to just take good care of it. And then minutes before the event, Sarah said, oh, well, you know, it got dropped on the sidewalk and the glass jar broke and there's ethanol everywhere, but the isopod is fine. So I got to tease her in front of a bunch of folks, reminding her that she had just one job that night. But Sarah is an extraordinary communicator and brings her passion for science and cephalopods to all of us. You can learn more about Skype a Scientist and sign your family up, or learn about their evening trivia for grown-ups at skypeascientist.com. So let me turn it over to Sarah, and she'll give you a sense of how the next hour is going to run. So Sarah, it's your show.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. Hello, everyone. I'm Sarah, and I'm going to be running our trivia event for the next hour or so. There are going to be 3 rounds of trivia today, all microbe themed. So the first round will be 6 questions. The second round will be a visual round where I'll be sending out a link to a bunch of pictures, and you'll tell me what caused what you're looking at. Is it a virus, a bacteria, an archaea, or a fungus? And then we'll do another round of 6 questions. There aren't all that many rules. It's pretty straightforward. After each round, I'll announce the answers. Actually, after each question, I'll announce the answers. You grade yourselves. And then after each round, I will be sending you a Google form. You put in your team name. That can be your name, your family name, or any wacky name that you come up with. And then I'll announce the standings after at halftime, which is the visual round, and then again at the end. For the winning teams today, we have a couple prizes that you can choose between. We have some notebooks that are very science themed. I am admittedly a little partial to the ocean. So we've got some cephalopods on this notebook. It's a lined notebook. And then this one is a collection of invertebrates. We've got some brittle stars, some coral, some crabs. Of course, got to put a cephalopod in there, the nautilus. And then we have some fossils. So you get the choice between one of the notebooks and one of the fossils. And so we have some old ammonites. So that's one type of fossil you have to choose between. Ammonites are ancient cephalopods. They are the animals that came before the squid, the nautilus, the octopus, and the cuttlefish. And so we've got some that in the process of fossilization have gotten what's called opalized. And that means that basically shiny minerals got in there. I admittedly am not a geologist, but love a good fossil. And so these are pretty cool, pretty shiny. The light doesn't always pick up on them, but with your eyeballs, it looks pretty cool. So these are what you have to choose between. Also, we have some, these are called belemnites. They are more squiddy looking as opposed to spirally shell looking. And this is the internalized shell that you would have found inside a belemnite. They looked real squiddy. If you look at a picture of a belemnite, looks like a squid, but the shell was inside the animal's body. So with that, let's do it. Let's get started. This is going, so we're going to read out a question, and then Hannah is going to release a poll where you get to pick your answer. And then after that poll runs out, after 60 seconds, I will tell you the answer. I'll put up some pond scum for us all to look at. It's not really scum. It's all the organisms that are living inside pond water during that 60 seconds where you have to deliberate with your squad. Or the voices inside your head, as I do living with cats. And then we'll go from there. So I hope you're all gonna have a good time doing this. Feel free to comment in the chat with whatever you'd like. Let's get into it. So our first microbe round starts with some microbe history. The first question here is as follows. The first person to look at bacteria under a microscope was Antoine van Leeuwenhoek. What did he name the microbes? Did he call them A, Kleinenkrittern, B, animalcules, B, pill beings, or D, sphericals? All right. Can you see the pound scum? Can I get a, okay. All right, the minute is up. The correct answer, which 90% of you got correct, is animalcules. That is the adorable name that Luna
Nice.
came up with. Yeah, way to go, everybody. Doing well. All right, hopefully I'll be able to stump you all at some point here. Here's number 2. Mitochondria are famously the powerhouse of the cell. A long time ago, mitochondria were bacteria that squeezed inside of a bigger cell. Over time, they became part of the cell in a process called endosymbiosis. What other organelle was originally an independent organism? Was it A, the lysosome, B, the chloroplast, C, the ribosome, or D, the Golgi apparatus? Oh dear.
Hello. My big talk. You want to? This is like a trivia. You want to listen to it with me? If they like ask questions, and you can learn things.
What did you say?
Want to do this next part with me?
Oh, sure.
Perfect. All right, that's been a minute. Let's go through the answer here. All right, the correct answer is chloroplasts. So chloroplasts used to be external photosynthesizing little critters, and now they're not just an organelle. They are one of the greatest organelles out there, the chloroplast. All right, number 3. MRSA or MRSA is a medicine-resistant strain of bacteria that can be very dangerous for people. The M in MRSA stands for the drug MRSA is resistant to. What drug is that? Is it A, methicillin, B, metronidazole, C, azithromycin, or D, moxicillin?
There is some algae.
I kind of feel like I'm in church with this one. This music.
Let's move around and see if we can find something else. A lot of algae. Let's back out. Ooh, focus.
This is making me want to go look at some pond scum under my own microscope.
Same.
Here's a dude.
All right. The correct answer, as many of you got, is methicillin. The others were partially made up by me. I took other antibiotics and just slapped an M at the beginning. All right, number 4. Which of these are bacteria not used for? So which of these applications did I just make up? Is it A, bacterial batteries, B, cleaning up toxic waste, C, degrading ocean plastic, or D, moisturizing skin?
How are you? Feel more fun. No? Here's something. Oh, beautiful.
All right. Many of you got this one correct too, moisturizing skin. It's amazing what people use bacteria for. The batteries, I think, is the wildest one I've heard of yet, at least the one that blew my mind the most. I believe that's Geobacter that has that electrical ability. Cleaning up toxic waste is another very useful thing that they do. Degrading ocean plastic is something they basically just eat the plastic. I don't know if they could do it at the scale we'd need them to do it, given the amount of plastic in the oceans, but every little bit helps. And to be fair, I wouldn't be surprised if over time we find a skin moisturizing bacterium, but I haven't found any commercial use of that yet. All right, and let's move on to number 5. That is, which of these foods is not made with the help of bacteria? Is it A, yogurt, B, kimchi, C, ice cream, or D, sauerkraut?
So hard to. Ooh, spike. Next. Oh, those guys are so quick. Stop it.
All right. All right, so the correct answer is ice cream. Fun fact about ice cream that I recently learned, there are scientists that are studying these antifreeze proteins. And so antifreeze proteins live in all sorts, not live in, but are produced by all sorts of animals, including Arctic fish, a lot of different kinds of fish that live in cold environments. And scientists are looking to see how we can learn about those little proteins and then apply them to different foods. So I don't know if you've ever had ice cream that like maybe you put it in the freezer and then you left the door of the freezer open for a little bit and then it thawed and then it froze again. And then you get these like crunchy ice cream, which is, nobody wants crunchy ice cream. That's unpleasant, except for obviously Oreo bits, which are very important. But having the texture of the ice cream be crunchy is not great. But having the inclusion of antifreeze proteins in the ice cream actually creates this like smoother, nicer texture. And so scientists are trying to figure out how we can learn from Arctic fish to make our ice cream better, which is pretty wild.
I love that. I'm very in favor.
Yeah, so anything that makes my ice cream better, like ice cream's
Yes.
already about as good as it can be. So better ice cream. I mean, thank you, science. Thank you, science. All right, number 6. In the 19th century, beauty marks were very in style. What were they used to disguise? Is it A, chicken pox scars, B, acne scars, C, smallpox scars, or D, birdshot wounds? A lot of hunting happening. All right. What else? What other critters are we gonna see here?
Hey,
Sarah, while folks are answering this, do you happen to know whose voice we're
Who this
hearing?
guy is? No, I don't know who this guy is. I'd love to know. His commentary is something else. The mix of the like disembodied man with the church music is quite the combo. I admit. Protists are so weird.
so many levels of. Ooh, cool.
I think he's German.
Oh, take the other one. Where did you go? There you are.
All right. All right, smallpox scars. So this is something that I learned from Pete, that the beauty marks were just like things people put on their smallpox scars to hide them, which is sad but pretty cool. Innovative fashion for sure.
But in fairness, Sarah, I mean, it could go to birdshot wounds, I suppose, or acne.
I guess it's possible. That's perhaps not why they were invented, but who's to stop the innovation of fashion from covering your birdshot wounds?
That's right. That's right.
I don't know how often women were going on bird hunts, but who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? All right. So now I'm going to send out the scores link. So you can submit your scores for the first half in this. I'm going to stop. There we go. Chat. There we go.
Very cool. So now folks have a chance looking in the chat box there to submit their scores, right, Sarah?
Yes.
Outstanding. And while we're waiting for folks to do that, you know, I was thinking about that microbial products in cosmetics, and I know there are some in cosmetics, but skin moisturizer specifically, I have no idea. So I was sharing with our participants that, you know, Sarah knows a lot. She rocks at trivia, but if they knew something we didn't, to go ahead and share it.
Absolutely.
Right. And Irmgard chimed in that said that there are topical probiotics used for acne and use common oral probiotics. Interesting.
Yeah, I think this is where I confess to you all about the time you and the very many people watching this, about the time that I tried using a commercially available product that shall remain nameless because I'm not, you know, sponsoring them or anything, in lieu of deodorant. So there's a product that employs soil microbes that are good at breaking down the aromatic compounds that make up the smelly component of our sweat. And in theory, you can spray it on any part of your body, but like particularly the sweaty parts, to in substitution for like a stick deodorant. I tried it for a summer. I got some feedback that it wasn't particularly effective. So I am not currently using it anymore, but that's the closest I've come. No, I don't know of a moisturizer.
I was at a beneficial bacteria conference one time, and there was this guy walking around, interestingly, approaching only the young female graduate students, saying, I have something that will make you more beautiful using bacteria. And we didn't get a lot of the details as to like how that all worked, but it was like something that you spritz on your face that apparently used back, but I didn't get the deets. And I'm not sure how moisturizing that was, or it was a little dubious, but he was going for it. It's possible that it works. You know,
Yeah.
Bacteria do amazing things. Who's to say? Bacterial squalene is a thing, using some moisturizer for skin. Interesting.
Yeah, that's so cool. And Claudette was saying that she's questioning the smallpox. I'm very intrigued. My comment about that is sharing that with you, Sarah, comes from reading about beauty marks in Victorian London in the middle of the 1800s. So I'm kind of curious to hear what Claudette can tell us more about that. Bacterial squalene, now. Didn't know that was a thing.
Me either.
Very cool. Thanks, Una.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we've gotten 8 teams in so far. A lot of you acing it.
Uh-oh.
Not everybody, but a lot of folks.
That's great.
A brainy bunch for sure. Awesome. All right, so in the meantime, we'll give you until the end of the visual round in order to get those scores in. So now I'm going to send you to the visual round. Here we go. The link is going to be in the chat right now. It's going to send you to basically a PowerPoint slide. And you can record your answers wherever. Here we go. Visual round. There you go. Let me know if anybody has trouble accessing that. It should be good. You are going to have about 7 minutes to complete this, during which time I will find a different microbe video on YouTube that doesn't have a delightful German man speaking to us the whole time. And we'll go from there. If anybody has any questions, we're all ears.
Let's see. So just to clarify, Sarah, I'm seeing 8 pictures here, and I'm going to record for myself whether each one was caused by bacteria, archaea, fungi, or viruses. This time I don't have a poll for all of you, so you will need to
scribble it down, text it to yourself, what have you, and then after 7 minutes, we'll go through all the answers.
Okay, awesome.
Wonderful. All right. Do we have any microbes that people would like to see? Let's do Stentor for a start. It's one of my personal faves. This one's only a minute long.
Put your head on my...
All right, here we go. I might put up my own personal tunes here. I have never found a tardigrade in the wild, although I hear it's not particularly challenging.
I haven't yet myself either, although I do know a person who has done it.
My lab mate in grad school did as well. Yeah. Ugh, Stentor are so cool and so weird.
I don't think I know what that is, a Stentor.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Truly, truly strange. It just looks like a trumpet, like a weird little cellular trumpet. I like them a lot.
Oh yeah, now we're talking. The tunes, this is the way to go.
We're doing some calming French cafe tunes today.
Right. I'm suddenly feeling the need for an espresso.
I'll put the volume down here, up here. There we go. There's the use of that animalcule.
We said goodbye with a smile on our faces. Now you're alone. You're so sad on your own. The truth is, we ran out of time. Now you're looking for me.
Weird.
Everyone found me.
I've been, this is just a side note, I've been collecting Uuthika, which are like the eggs of mantises for the last couple months out in the woods, specifically the invasive mantis, it's called the Chinese mantis. I'll go get one and show you. They look like this. Almost looks like spun sugar.
Oh, yeah.
This is like the egg of the mantis. They look like little, like, you know, bug lollipops. You'll see them on all sorts of different plants. And my first one hatched this morning, overnight.
Whoa, that's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Can you see the little?
Oh, I can.
I'll see if I can pull one out. I'm gonna have like thousands of mantises in mere days.
When you say the first one hatched, that whole, how many mantises does that one sack yield?
What a good question. I think something in the ballpark of like 200.
You are gonna have a lot of mantises.
I have like 50 Uuthika, because you're not supposed to let them just like exist in the woods because they're invasive.
Oh.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with all these mantises. I'm supposed to kill them, but I'm not good at killing animals. And they're just so goofy. They're just, let's see.
Oh yeah.
They're just the littlest silly babies.
Oh, I have a friend that I need to put you in touch with. I'll hook you two up. She also raises mantises.
I have, so I practiced first because I had no faith in my ability to raise bugs. I've raised squid. I can do squid in my sleep at this point, but mantises I figured would be easier than a squid because squid are notoriously a pain in the butt. But I hadn't done it. So I practiced with these mantises called ghost mantises. They're spooky looking, and I have them right here because I bought them from a person on the internet.
Les étoiles, les étoiles, les étoiles, dites-moi étoiles, pourquoi je vous regarde.
These have been with me now for about 2 months.
Whoa.
They're so cool, and they're very easy to take care of. All I have to do is feed them fruit flies. I get flightless fruit flies from just like Petco or whatever.
That's awesome. Whoa.
They're so cool. And all I have to do is spritz their tank down with a little water every day, just with like a little spritz bottle. And our 7 minutes are up. Yeah, and then feed them fruit flies, and they totally take care of themselves.
Wow.
So a fun starter pet. So I mean, like, I want to show you the like profile of them because they're truly so cool. Like,
Yeah.
Their little faces are just so spooky and cool.
They're very majestic.
They're majestic. And they often so in the wild, they're pretending to be leaves, basically. So they'll pretend to sway with the wind just by going like this. And
They're fluttering.
In their tank. It's just but they're trying to be sneaky. It's very cute. If all goes to plan, I'll have a male and a female, and I'll get to breed them.
Whoa.
We don't know yet because they're not quite fully grown yet.
Are you going to be able to tell once they are full grown?
Yeah, the females have bigger abdomens.
Okay.
I always have to sing in my head the head thorax abdomen song.
So Chinese mantises are native to China, Japan, the Korean Peninsula, Micronesia, and Thailand. I wonder what customs would think if you tried to send back 100,000 Chinese mantises.
Are your mantises back? Please take good care of them.
Yeah.
I just don't know. That would be a tough conservation project to fund. Hey, we'd like
a mantis reserve.
The mantis reserve, exactly.
That'd be a heavy lift.
Pretty heavy lift. But here we are. Okay. Let's go through the answers. Am I still screen sharing? No, excellent. Okay. So here we go. The first was a salt pond, and the halo archaea that live in those are archaea. The next question, let me pull up our sheet here. Oh, it's a tulip I took a picture of just the other day. That tulip is infected with a virus that doesn't really hurt them, but whenever you see in many different kinds of plants, instead of having one color on the leaf or the petal, if you see two, that's from a virus. And that's going to be true for number 2 and for number 5. Both of those, if not the same virus, is in the similar kind of virus. Number 3 is something called a stromatolite. Stromatolites are so cool. They're bacterial boulders that are created by bacteria. These are some of the oldest forms of life that we're aware of and are super, super important for studying ancient life. It's like a little fossil record of ancient bacterial life. Number 4 is smallpox, unfortunately. Glad that's not something that we have to put beauty marks on ourselves for anymore. 5 is a virus again. Of course, smallpox, so number 4 was a virus. Number 6 is a root nodule. Root nodules are little specialized housing containers for a type of bacteria called rhizobia. There's a bunch of different types for different plants, and they fix nitrogen. So they help the plant get the nutrients that it needs from the soil that it's unable to suck out of the soil and air by itself. It just doesn't have the ability to process the type of nitrogen that the bacteria can use and then turn into a usable form by the plant. Number 7 is a fungus that is cordyceps, a type of fungus that infects ants and then gets into their bodies and then sprouts. It alters their brain chemistry such that the ant wants to crawl up a plant quite high. And then once it gets up there, it does what's called a death grip. So they bite really hard onto the plant that they're on to kind of root them there. And then the fungus sprouts out of their head and sends spores to the forest floor to hopefully for the fungus infect more ants. Pretty brutal. And lastly, number 8 is also a fungus that is called cheatgrass, is the host plant, the plant that's being infected. And that is a type of fungus that infects cheatgrass. Cheatgrass is something that it's another invasive species in some places. And so scientists were trying to use this fungus as a way of controlling the cheatgrass. So there you have it. Those are the answers. So to go through that one more time, the answers in order were number 1, archaea. Number 2, virus. Number 3, bacteria. Number 4, virus. Number 5, also virus. Number 6, bacteria. Number 7, fungus. Number 8, fungus. I posted those answers in order in the chat, so you have them for reference. And now let's do the scores as they stand. Here we go. All right, the team who has learned the most this afternoon with 3 points from round 1 is JJX. The team with 4 points, Melanin and Tan. With 5 points, Penny Powell and Team B. And tied for first place after round 1 with 6 points is Alexis, Izzy and Mom, Unabella, Team Alborlins, and West Point. So thank you all for participating so far. Let's get into our third round of trivia. Again, of course, with the theme all about microbes. All righty, here we go. Number 1, Jon Snow is more than just a hunky character in Game of Thrones. He was a scientist during a cholera outbreak in 1854. Where did he trace the cholera outbreak to? Was it A, a bakery, B, a well, C, the river, or D, the butcher?
Or Winterfell. Don't forget Winterfell.
Of course, Winterfell and the wall, beyond the wall, on Tormund, perhaps. Who knows? All right. Now YouTube is automatically playing a time lapse of a salamander developing inside of an egg. That's cool. Let's do it. Let's do it. We'll do this in the next question because it looks like most people have gotten their answers in. One of my many anxieties and fears is that all of these mantises are going to break out of their enclosure, and I'm going to come into my office one day and I'm just like, the walls are going to be covered in little baby mantises.
Right. And then someone somewhere will come back and say, Sarah, these are invasive and we have to talk.
I'm going to be jailed in invasive species court. I guess better that my cats eat them than they live in the wild of the Pine Barrens where I caught them. But not sure about that. All right, the answer for number 1, as 81% of you knew, was a well. So yeah, everyone was just feeding themselves cholera every day. Very sad. Okay, number 2. Big blobs of bacteria are thought to be one of the, we already asked about this. Well, if you're paying attention, you're really gonna get this question right. Are thought to be one of the earliest life forms. They're basically boulders made by cyanobacteria. What is another name for them? Is it A, cementamites, B, bacterial boulders, C, stromatolites, or D, microbe mops? Luckily, I only said that word once while going through the answers. All right, let's open up this salamander video. Development is such a strange thing to watch.
It still creeps me out that you can actually study something that you can see with your own eye.
It's
still unnerves me.
It's weird. It's weird when, I mean, it's weird the whole time, but it's weird when folks die like one of those first 4 cells, and then you can like watch everything that came from that cell.
Right.
That's just wacky.
That's crazy. It's
Can't
crazy.
believe that works.
Crazy talk.
Crazy talk. All right. So the answer here is stromatolites. Stromatolites are the name for those big blobs of bacteria that turned into stone over many years. All righty. Now, development. Number 3, Listeria is a ridiculously cool type of bacteria. It's one of my personal faves. They have the ability to steal parts of the cells that they infect and then use those parts to zoom around the cell. What are those tails that they use to zoom with made of? Is it A, actin, B, cytoplasm, C, C, mitochondria, or D, fat? I've been spending a lot of time collecting moth cocoons to prepare for the bug zoo that we're doing in Philadelphia this summer. And I've learned that it is really hard to be a moth because so they're born, they run around eating all summer long, and then they turn themselves into a cocoon effectively. That's like these particular moths that I'm working with are silk moths. Their cocoons are about yay big. I'm sure I have one lying around that I can show you.
Wait, that seems like a giant cocoon. Was that like the size of
It's huge.
like a Vienna sausage or like a hot dog?
A short sausage, I guess. Here, I'll show you.
Oh, like a breakfast sausage. It's lunchtime, if you can't tell.
Like a duck's egg. They're huge.
What?
It's bananas. Okay. So, but not banana size. Okay, so here's the size of one. So this is my face. This is the cocoon.
Whoa.
Like large, very large. These are the large silk moths. I was trying to really impress the children of Philadelphia this summer. And these moths will hatch. So within this cocoon, there's like a mini cocoon, it's like multi. So these have to survive the winter all the way up through I know they live up in Massachusetts. They might go as far as Maine. So within this blanket, there's another blanket of silk, and then here we go. The pupa, which, can you see the fact that this legitimately looks like Mothra? Like, this is so wild and cool. You can see the antenna imprinted on the pupil casing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's bananas. And then you can see the wings as well here, and then you can see the butt over here. Okay, so it's a three blanket system. We've got this, and then the actual animal inside. And so my goal this spring has been to find these and then make sure that they're still alive inside the cocoon, because wasps will parasitize these animals. And so while they're just helpless sitting there in their cocoons all winter, the wasps will burrow in, lay their eggs, and then the babies will eat up the just sitting there moth. And so I've collected 13 of these cocoons, which are quite hard to find, and they've all been dead, every single one. And it's just so sad. And so I've collected another species as well. I've collected about 7 of those, and one of those is alive. So I'm currently 1 for 27 for dead moths. These poor moths. I don't know how we have moths anymore, honestly. It's tough to be a moth. Okay, let's go back to bacteria here. Listeria, very, very, very cool. They will propel themselves around the cell by co-opting a bunch of different cell cytoskeletal proteins. And what they use is actin. Basically, the actin will form on the back of them and push them forward through the cytoplasm. And if you watch, it just looks like they're just zipping around. It is so, so, so cool. And there are also videos that have the actin that will light up in a color, so you can see the little comet tails. Oh, it's good microscopy. It's just good stuff. So feel free to Google that when you can't sleep tonight. Well, that might make you sleep worse because you'd be excited, but that's what I do when I can't sleep. All right, number 4, known as one of the most indestructible micro animals, what kind of tiny multi-celled organism can survive totally drying out, radiation, and even the vacuum of space? Is it A, the amoeba, B, the tardigrade, C, the mini mushroom, or D, the paramecium? Another type of moth that we find around here is called a bagworm moth, and they like to hang out. One of the particular species that I'm about to show you, they live on all sorts of pine trees. So this is called the evergreen bag